Double bind.
Double bind.
Double bind.
Double bind.
Double bind.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Double Bind. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Welcome to our first episode for 2021, and we have a full house here. I am your host, Springle. I've got my co-host, Boogs, in-house, and I've got my guest host, of course, Christina out of ATL, Femme Fatale. We've got Victoria out of ATL as well. And then, of course, we have the Snead Meister, the master of doom and gloom. One of my favorite brothers from another mother. And we've got Snead in-house. So, welcome, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Hola. Happy New Year. Yes. Happy New Year and all that.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Welcome to the Double Bind family. I'm getting tongue-tied. Welcome to the Double Bind family, Vicky. Thank you guys for being here. So, Books, I'm a little lazy right now. What's the first topic we're going to address?
Yeah, I think we should address what's on everybody's mind globally. And I think we should just start with COVID.
Okay.
Changes have been implemented since the last season. This is season 2. And now we're looking at having herd immunity. We're looking at now having a vaccination. And conversations are sparking about those who are now anti-vaxxers versus those who, and a lot of the anti-vaxxers, they tend to stand on the platform of it was rushed. And vaccinations in the past have taken a large number of years to be developed, to go through clinical trials, et cetera. And this one just seems to have gone through the pipelines fairly quickly. So I do get the hesitation from those who don't want to take it. But at the same time, my standpoint is, for me, the majority of us have a large number of vaccinations already in our bodies from, 6 months old. So that would be the opposite end of the argument. But, what do you guys think? Vicky, any thoughts on the vaccination in terms of it being sped up? Would you take it?
No, and mostly because of the fact that I do think it's rushed and they don't really have enough data to actually figure out what's affecting it. And then I also don't think it's focused more so on African Americans as an individual, because when they create most of these vaccines, they're geared towards the majority, and the majority in the US is our counterpart white people. Yeah. And I just don't think that it'll be safe to take right now. And I feel like for the first wave, if you want to take it, you should. But I don't think you should be forced to take it if you don't want to. And especially with the allergies some people experience and then some complications other people are having. And it does concern me that they want to advertise it to our community heavily. Honestly, I think it's experimental at this stage in the game. It's way too early to be trying to take a vaccine that only had less than a year to make. And then it's not only the only version, because there were 2 versions coming out. And they were basically trying to see who could get it out faster. So I also think that's another factor in how rushed the vaccine was. And I just personally am not going to take it. And I've already seen side effects happening to other people. And I just feel like they need more information before I will take it and feel safe taking it.
A lot of the arguments I have heard or read about in terms of in terms of the vaccination, being sped up and taking, as you said, less than a year, is that you've had every epidemiologist, every doctor globally working on this at the same time, whereas other viruses that we've had in the past, there may have been limited funding, and it wasn't necessarily like a global effort. Like this was happening to everybody at the same time, so it was, in a sense, all hands on deck. So that's the argument that's kind of floating around.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's what the message that they want to push out into the world, into the masses, to believe that everybody in the planet is working so diligently to come up with these vaccines. But what the scary thing about it is the vaccine's only treating one particular kind of one strand of COVID, where there are two others that are existing that is very resistant to the vaccines. So it's like, it's too soon, too rushed. Like Victoria said, you don't have enough information. To me, it's like, you don't even know how these vaccines are going to affect the masses. It's just like, pull back a little bit. I would rather them, really dig in, do what they need to do, find a vaccine that actually works instead of just trying to push something out either to calm down the hysteria or to make money.
But this vaccine, Christina, real quick, I'm sorry. But this vaccine, if you really look at it, they're also using the vaccine as almost some type of currency to allow us to get back to a sense of normality. Mm-hmm. And that, for me, that is the biggest problem. Yeah. So Christina, go ahead.
I would definitely agree with that. Me personally, as a Black woman living in America and knowing how scientists use medicine to discriminate and also harm the Black community, whether that's intentional or non-intentional, I just don't trust it, especially at this stage. I definitely agree with you, Victoria, saying that this is definitely too early and that it's more of a scientific experiment. When they're having experiments, people who look like us are always the lab rats. And whether we're being paid, whether it's for free, whether there's some kind of incentive, they're always targeting melanated folks. And it's just not a coincidence. And for me personally, I don't trust this government enough to allow them to inject anything in me. And for me personally, honestly, I think COVID is more of a conspiracy to have us be really dependent upon technology, because what's changed during COVID? We've all become super dependent upon our electronics. We're having doctor's visits via teleconference. We're not really meeting our friends anymore. We're having this podcast via a Zoom meeting. But I definitely do think that it's being used to manipulate a society.
Or could it just be we're adapting now in society because of COVID?
Yeah, because that's what a new world order calls.
Well, we're being forced to adapt.
Or because you either adapt or you get left behind.
Because we're not inside because we want to be. We're inside because we have to be. And then you hear all the reports of the people who are actually going out in these large masses and catching COVID. And it's like, well, why not just stay inside? So it's not necessarily that I don't want to go out and I don't want to continue my regular activities. It's that I want to make sure that I'm keeping myself safe, keeping my family safe, keeping the people around me safe, so that I'm more so forced to be inside.
It's funny because the thought of like herd immunity, which you mentioned, Boogs, in the beginning, just immunity in itself, like a lot of people scientifically, a lot of people don't pay attention to the fact that the immune system is very robust. Like our immune system is there for a reason. A lot of the non-melanated parents who've gone onto this trend of, sanitizing their kids away from dirt and trees and rivers and streams. I don't believe in that. And the reason I don't believe in that, again, because what happens, they said statistically, what happens, these kids who've been sheltered from pathogens, natural pathogens, actually have weaker immune systems. So when you look at the fact that we are sheltering and hibernating away from each other, the fact that Black people also, we need more sun, the fact that we're not getting as much sun because we're inside more, that doesn't help us. And the thing I can't understand, Dr. Fauci said on TV that, yes, it does not ensure that you won't catch it. It just mitigates some of the symptoms. No one's saying anything to you about, how about maybe you just eat better?
Because there's no money in that for them.
And get more sun.
There's no money.
There's no money in that.
It's not an advantage.
And this is why people call me a conspiracy theorist. It's like, I don't understand. Like you said, I'm like, I can't trust.
There's no profit.
Exactly. And when you think about these kinds of things, everything has a profit for somebody. When we go to war, somebody is making money. So I feel like the real question is, who's profiting?
Mm-hmm. I, I might have to look.
Yeah.
I might have to look at some stock investments in vaccine
And vaccines.
I hate to say it. I might be anti-vax, but I need to make some money off of this. Any major company or white-owned institution or white-owned entity that is pushing any sort of product directly towards the Black community, because in a way that's supposedly meant to benefit us. Because again, as Christina said, historically we have been guinea pigs, and our bodies have been used as guinea pigs for hundreds of years. And I don't believe that, for example, Governor Cuomo all of a sudden says, "Oh, I won't take the vaccine in New York State until all my Latino and Black constituents get it first before me." Like, he's so concerned, about the Blacks and Latinos all of a sudden with COVID. And what blows my mind in regards to COVID and the numbers, no one's talking about the flu anymore. It's hard for me to trust any of that.
Well, I mean, I think the flu is something we can treat the flu. We know how to treat the flu. We know how to treat these seasonal.
But COVID is the cousin of the flu.
Yeah, the cousin of the flu, a distant cousin of the flu that comes around and nobody know anything about. That's what it is. It's like we look at the table.
His cousin Faith came to fuck shit up.
Cousin Faith. Yes.
Soul food. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, Vicky and Christina, y'all know what we're talking about because you two are the youngest. Boogs, can we tell them what movie that's from?
Yeah, soul food.
Oh, he's still on mute.
So you guys said it was soul food?
Sounds funny.
Yeah, it was soul food.
I hear y'all, and the laughing is contagious. But I don't know necessarily everything you're speaking about.
So yeah, we've seen soul food, but we're too young to really remember like the content and the meaning of it.
Yeah, so Vanessa Williams' character Terry, yeah, the cousin that was sleeping with Terry's husband. That would be Corona. That would be Corona.
What? They don't have some Alabama mess?
Yeah, cousin Faith.
What do you guys see is changing, like, in society today and the way we operate and how we do things? What do you guys predict is going to continue or change completely for 2021? So let's say entertainment. How do you guys see entertainment changing because of COVID?
I see those like little VR headphones that go over your eyes becoming way more popular. I saw a kid in the store today wearing some. COVID has kind of pushed us towards more reliance on technology. And I know that Netflix has become my best friend during this time. And I just see myself interacting with technology a lot more.
I'm just going to say this publicly. I want to apologize to Boogs because offline we had a little thing about the Clubhouse thing. No, but you know what? Here's the thing. And I do want to apologize to you because like I did kind of get in my feelings about that, but I thought about it afterwards. What Christina just said just kind of, brought those thoughts and those feelings back. Like, it's pushing us to move into this technology kind of arena in this realm. And, like you said, you either get with it or you get left behind. And I feel like all these services, all these new apps and things that are going out, this is the new wave and you have to keep abreast with them and you have to keep up with it or you just be like sitting like in the dark ages before all the things that I have become completely reliant on up until this point. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that human interaction is definitely a must, even the way that the economy is going, it's all leaning to what science and technology. So this is the future and we have to be prepared. Yeah, we have to get with it. We have no choice. So
Snead, you're in what, 300 BC or 600 BC? Which one?
I will say because I have Instagram and Facebook and all those and all my streaming services, I'm probably
1982. Got it.
600 BC. I'll give myself that pat on the back.
Oh man, economics, things have changed and are changing, I should say. And of course, I worked in a field in marketing, which of course, primarily promotions and events that involved huge crowds. So obviously my industry was decimated. Snead is coming from the theater industry. And of course that was decimated as well. Now we see people having to pivot away from their traditional jobs and now having to enter newer markets. Have any of you, outside of Snead and myself, been affected by COVID where you had to kind of shift how you work or where you work at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Me for sure. Working from home, or as I like to say, living at work. And I think that when we change or when we progress into some sense of normalcy, I do foresee, and management has spoken to us about it, where the new working environment will be, working from home 2 or 3 days a week, going into the office for, a day or 2 a week. And that will just be the new normal. So COVID is...
Does that feel better for you or not?
Working from home 5 days a week for almost the last year is frustrating. It is overwhelming because, again, like we said, human interaction is a must. But I do welcome the idea of being able to work from home 2 days a week or 3 days a week. I think that will be a positive reinforcement for work-life balance.
Vicky, what about you?
It's definitely easier on my mind working inside the home, just knowing that I'm around people who I trust to keep me safe and to stay safe themselves as well, and wearing masks and keeping themselves and their hygiene up to par, especially with our times. And I do enjoy working from home, but it's, again, the human interaction, just having coworkers. It's an annoyance when you have coworkers, especially when you don't like them, or it's just like, you don't want to be around them. But now it's like, you miss your coworkers. Like, just to be annoyed by them is like, you kind of miss it now.
Yeah, it's like you hated it when it was happening. Now it's gone. Bring it back.
Right.
Yeah.
So Barry, 2 cubicles away, that
it's now become, now you miss him like he's your best
18
friend.
months ago. Like, hey Barry, what you doing? Right. Like, I'm working at home.
I miss yelling at people. Like I do. Like
and just learning things, like, I don't know, talking those what do they call them, water cooler talks. Like, you could just learn something from someone about, you could learn something from someone about, a travel destination that you had in mind of going, and then you mention it to a coworker and they tell you, their cousin went and they got this deal and they stayed there. Like, those organic conversations are just not happening anymore.
Yeah, because it doesn't have that same organic
it's all about
feel.
COVID. And you can't do it. But you can't have those conversations face to face now because everybody acts like you have the plague. Like, everyone jumps back when you try to have a conversation. It's crazy. Like, you try to have a conversation with somebody right now, it's like, oh, wait, don't get too close, or don't do it all. Or like they become protected, like, almost like there's a defense system around them. Like, you can't. It's crazy.
Interesting. Well, Christina and Vicky, you both don't know me very well, but I will say this. Snead knows I love me some social distancing. I do not like people. I don't like people next to me. I'm so happy. That is one aspect of COVID I hope stays, the 6 feet apart. I do not like people breathing down my neck. I don't like people rubbing against me. I don't like any of that. So for me, it's a plus.
No, I get that though, because I enjoy my personal space as well. And then if people invade your personal space too often, it just deters me from even wanting to be around them.
Now, I had a lot of entrepreneurial work, so it wasn't necessarily having coworkers, but networking connections. And there has been like a lot less of that, but overall, I kind of just miss the connection of just like actively going out and having meetings and speaking with people and learning different things and just being able to just have that interaction. It's a lot different not being able to have it.
I was in this city the other day and I was on the train, scared as hell. Let me tell you why. Because it's like you know how I feel about the MTA. If I can avoid it, I'm not going to get on it. But it was a lot for me. I didn't want to sit down. I didn't want to touch the bars. I didn't want, there was like people all around me still, like there were still homeless people sleeping on the seats. But I was at 34th Street and these white people got on and they didn't have no mask on. I took a picture and everything. And I didn't even realize it because I was so invested in my phone and doing stuff. And I just happened to look up because he said something, and I just looked. I was like, what? And I realized he didn't have his mask on. She didn't either. Then I looked to my left. The lady didn't have her mask on. I said, oh, hell no. Y'all crazy as hell. And I got up.
But didn't you just talk about having people, when you try to talk to them one-on-one, having people kind of like put you on, pause, hold up, too close? Did you just say that?
Oh, no. That's something completely different from being in an enclosed area like that with all those elements in that situation. The amount of people that are still riding the MTA, the homeless people sleeping on the seats. And then you have people who come on who are not protecting themselves. If you're not going to protect yourself, you damn sure ain't worried about my health. So hell no, let me get up.
This is the last stop on this train.
Boogs, I haven't been to Toronto in years. Please don't remind me.
Because you know I will.
Yeah, I know you. FYI, I used to go to Toronto twice a year, and I gave up. Anyway, but how's the subway system there? Like, is it? Well, I mean, in general, obviously, it was cleaner than what we do.
Well, our subway system is really clean. But listening to Gene talk about being on the MTA, I cringed because here, the TTC, I think I've been on it probably twice since March of last year. And I think the last time I went on it was probably the summer. And I remember being on it and thinking, everybody is wearing a mask and it's so empty. It was kind of airy. It was like, whoa, what's because I've been enclosed in my own home for so long, right? And I just remember thinking, there we are again, Canadians being compliant.
The nice Americans.
So yeah, I haven't been in a situation here anyway where no one was wearing a mask. I will say though, when I was in Florida too, for the holidays, everyone was wearing a mask there too. And Florida's open. I didn't see one person outside without a mask on. Which was interesting, given what the media is showing me on my television every day.
The fact that, people are still having dining in, seating in, dining in, or dining, I don't know how to say it. Like they can sit in a restaurant and still eat and clubs are still open. I think that's really one of the reasons Florida's in the top high marks of infection rates. And same thing here in Georgia, it's just there. I mean, I gauge Georgia is around maybe 30% dining in. And everything else is grab and go. I don't think it's every single space allowing you to sit in and eat. So maybe that's kind of what they're taking.
And how does the dining in work? How does it operate, like logistically? So you walk in, you have to have your mask on. You're seated at the table, you have to have your mask on, and then you take your mask off to eat.
Pretty much. And if you leave your table, you have to put your mask on. Yeah. So unless you're sitting outside, outside free game.
You know what, yeah. COVID at this point, none of it makes sense. But
make it make sense.
Thank you, everyone. This is a 2-part episode, so come back in 2 days and we will continue this conversation. Thank you for tuning in. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and now Clubhouse, as well as all major streaming platforms. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. And we'd love to hear from you, so leave us a comment.